Well, Silver Jubilee meeting of the Association of Corporate Lawyers of Sri Lanka commenced in Colombo today under the auspices of the Minister of Justice, Rauf Hakim. The Attorney General of Sri Lanka, Palita Fernando, was the guest of honour at the inauguration today.
As you know, we have just ended a devastating war. And now it is the opportunity for us, because there is peace in the country, and there is the opportunity for us to get together in order to develop this. I think if we miss this opportunity, if we do not seize it with both hands and make maximum out of it, we are going to regret forever.
So when we talk about the basic postulates that are needed to project our country as a place to attract foreign direct investment, we must have, in the first place, an efficient and expeditious delivery of justice. Trying to make our court system to become efficient is not very easy, and particularly when we have to deal with our own ilk, the lawyers. That apart, another important postulate of a country's success is the climate of rule of law and the law and order situation. And this is something that all investors need to have confidence in. And along with that, we must ensure a level playing field without much corruption, and an efficient delivery system when it comes to conducting business.
UNP Deputy Leader Sajid Premadasa says a historic era will dawn the day he forms a government.
Sajid Premadasa made this statement at the 241st phase of the Sasunataruna program held at the Sri Dharmapala Viharya in Nelua, Galle today. On the day that the people of this country, devoid of all religious, ethnic and communal divisions, give a mandate to Sajid Premadasa, and when Sajid Premadasa forms a government, an era of true development, a truly historic era, will dawn. Moving on to one of our headline-making stories tonight, an individual who was wounded in a recent clash between two UNP factions succumbed to his injuries today. UNP North Central Provincial Councillor Anura Buddhika, who was arrested in connection with the incident, was also released on bail today. A clash broke out at the home of Lalit Edrisinghe, UNP candidate at the concluded North Central Provincial Council poll last Sunday. Supporters of Lalit Edrisinghe, who is also the former opposition leader of the Mihintale Pradeshiya Sabha, and supporters of the elected UNP candidate for the North Central Provincial Council, Anura Buddhika, were involved in the clash. 3 persons were injured in the clashes. Anura Buddhika's driver, who was critically injured in the clash and was receiving treatment at the intensive care unit of the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital, succumbed to his injuries today. The deceased is 41-year-old DM Priyantha Disanayaka, a resident of Kiriyaguna, Eppawela.
My brother started a tea shop. Not even a month passed before Anura came and offered him a job as a driver. Now he has been assaulted and killed.
Meanwhile, 3 persons, including Provincial Councillor Anura Buddhika, who turned themselves over to the police in connection with the incident, were arrested and then produced before the Anuradhapura Additional Magistrate and District Judge. The councillor and one of the other 2 persons were released on personal bail of 200,000 rupees each and were ordered to appear in court on the 18th of this month. The other suspect was remanded until the 18th of this month. My driver was dragged from the main road to his house. He was tied up and beaten to death. Lalit and the others must bear responsibility for this. They must answer to his wife and 4 children. I believe that the law will be enforced properly here.
ඉදිරියේදී බිරිඳ ඇතුළු දරුවෝ 4 දෙනාට ලලිත් එදිරිසිංහ වගකිය යුතුයි මම විශ්වාස කරනවා නීතිය මේ සම්බන්ධව විසිලස නීතිය ඉටු කරයි කියන මගේ විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා මගේ නිවසේ 10 වෙනිදා රාත්‍රියේ මර කණ්ඩායමක් ඇවිල්ලා පහර දුන්නා. On
the night of the 10th, a gang of thugs and others including Honorable Buddhika Gunasekara were involved in an assault at my home. One of the victims of this assault passed away today.
බුද්ධික වග කියන්න ඕනේ මොකද අnder බුද්ධික ගහනවා දැකපුවා ඉන්නවා ඒ නිසා මේ මරණය සම්බන්ධව අnder බුද්ධික වග කියන්න ඕනේ කියලා මම ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
This is the second election-related death in as many days. An individual who was injured in a crash involving 2 UPFA factions and was receiving treatment at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital passed away last morning. The deceased, 42-year-old S. Anura Kumara, was a resident of Rajanganaya. The family of the deceased has accused a group connected to elected UPFA candidate for the North Central Provincial Council, Bertie Premalal Disanayake, of being responsible for the killing. However, Bertie Premalal Disanayake maintains that no one from his side was involved in the clash. The police media spokesperson said that 5 persons were arrested in connection with this incident today.
The Supreme Court today granted leave to proceed with the petition challenging the government's takeover of a 7-acre plot of land in Slave Island.
The petition was filed by a group of persons residing on the plot of land. 7 persons, including the Defence Secretary, Minister of Lands and Land Development and the Chairman of the Urban Development Authority have been cited as respondents in the petition. The petitioners claimed that on the 23rd of July, the Colombo Divisional Secretary had informed them that the plot of land was to be acquired by the government. The petition states that even though it was claimed that land was being taken over for the purpose of developing the area, the land had in fact been sold to an Indian company. The petitioners requested court to annul the takeover of the said land. The Supreme Court meanwhile ordered the respondents to refrain from carrying out any modification of the land in question. This is one of the most valuable plots of land in the country. Nearly 2,500 people live here. We filed a petition in the Supreme Court stating that their fundamental rights were being violated. The case is to be heard on the 1st of October.
5th of September 2012. Location Maligawatta. M. Mohammed Azwa is abducted. The abducted individual released a few hours later. 8 days since the abduction, no suspects have been identified or arrested as yet. And up next is a look at Action TV. On the 3rd of this month, Action TV revealed a letter which questioned the actions of the Divisional Secretary of Panadura in relation to the illegal activities that took place following a Gazette notice to take over a plot of land in Kaludavula, Eluvilla, which had been farmed on a peasant hold basis for 52 years, allegedly for a village extension program. The letter, dated the 29th of August 2012, was addressed by the Assistant Commissioner of Agrarian Services Development in the Kalutara district to the Divisional Secretary of Panadura. The gist of what is stated in this letter is that the relevant plot of land was bequeathed to the King George V Memorial Elders Home 52 years ago and that a permanent injunction order has been issued by the courts preventing the refilling of this farmland. The letter also notes that using this land for any purpose other than agriculture is a punishable offence. The Assistant Commissioner also notifies the Divisional Secretary through this letter that there is a registered peasant currently farming on this plot of land. The reason for the Assistant Commissioner to address such a letter to the Divisional Secretary is a letter addressed by the Divisional Secretary to the Commissioner of Agrarian Services Development in the Kalutara district dated the 22nd of August 2012. According to this letter, the Divisional Secretary has recognized the peasant as an unauthorized cultivator. This is the reason for this misunderstanding.
When
I assumed duties last February, the process of taking over this plot of land had been completed. At a paddy recultivation event held today in Panadura, at which the Divisional Secretary was also present, the Western Province Minister of Agriculture expressed these views to Action TV. Recently, at the District Development Coordinating Committee meeting, the President reiterated that the refilling of paddy lands is completely prohibited. This definitely applies to the Kalutara district too. When I arrived here today, members of farmers' societies told me that paddy lands in this area are being refilled illegally. I will bring this matter to the attention of the subject minister to take the necessary action.
මේ පැමිණිලි අගරු ඇමතුමාගේ අවධානයට යොමු කරලා ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඉදිරි ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගන්නට නිලධාරීන් යොමු කරවන්න අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
And time now for the newspaper cartoon of the day.
The Gateway Graduate School has taken measures to offer a degree in education in collaboration with a British university for the first time in Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, the certificate awarding ceremony for the students who completed the EdExcel Professional Diploma in Teaching was held yesterday. Diplomas were awarded to those who completed the EdExcel Professional Diploma in Teaching at the new Gateway Graduate School in Bamalapitia. The students who completed the diploma successfully are now entitled to follow the degree program on education offered in collaboration with a British university.
We are even more pleased to be signing an MOU with the Nottingham Trent University in UK, and through this our diploma holders will be able to study for a BA in education here in Sri Lanka, and this would be offered for the very first time in Sri Lanka, a degree in education.